Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Pretty soon, a podcast is going to be out there. We'll keep you informed about that as well. I am so happy to have with me a very special friend, Victoria Lee Scott. And Victoria, you got your hands in everything, girlfriend. What all are you doing?
Well, I honestly do think that this is probably some of the most important time in our American history. Mm-hmm. We have charges being flown around. We have people that are in positions that do not deserve them. We have corruption gone rampant at all levels of this government. I blame both sides. I think that there is a lot, and I think coming into 2024 is going to be the most important time. I am very fearful of something of catastrophic levels hitting this country like we've never seen in order to change its course. And that frightens me. So I have got my hands in a lot of things because I think there are a lot of people that need to wake up and do their fair share. This is no longer, I think, Donna, for so long, one of the things I hated the most was listening to anybody in an interview and them continually saying, well, we'll just have to wait and see. No, you know what? I don't want to hear wait and see anymore. Wait and see is garbage. I want a solution. If you don't have a solution, I want to know who you answer to. And then I want to go to them. And if they still tell me to wait and see, then I want to know who you answer to. And I'm going to go until somebody can tell me why things aren't getting done.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not getting done. I want to show a clip to you. So we have our president of the United States has been indicted again, along with a long list of other folks right there. So let's spend just about 2 or 3 minutes and look at this video. We're going to be right back.
There's a lot going on. Fourth criminal indictment. We knew that this was brewing there in Georgia, and there are certainly similarities between that case and the federal case here in D.C., but this creates a whole different exposure for the former president.
Thank you for joining us.
It was just before midnight in Georgia when Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis unveiled the latest charges against former President Donald Trump, all stemming from his alleged actions to overturn the 2020 election results, including pressuring Georgia officials. And it isn't just Trump. There are 18 others charged, including Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani and former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn Georgia's presidential election result.
The former president tells Fox the indictment was tailored for placement right smack in the middle of my political campaign. The scope of the Georgia case, though, is expansive.
The danger here is that it can dilute the legitimacy of the case unless you can show strong linkages on a case of this kind. You don't want it to look like you're charging everyone and letting God sort them out.
On the other hand, some of the other defendants may come under enormous pressure to flip and testify against Trump. Trump's legal team, meantime, is questioning how what appeared to be a copy of the indictment appeared just hours earlier on the court's website, apparently before it was officially handed down, something the prosecutor would not explain.
I am not an expert on clerks' duties or even administrative duties. I wouldn't know how to work that system, and so I'm not going to speculate. Next question.
Yeah, we may hear some more about that whole situation. In the meantime, as far as the timeline here goes, you look at all of these different cases moving forward, and every prosecutor wants to get the kind of their bite at the apple here as soon as possible. In this Georgia case, the prosecutor there, Fani Willis, wants to move forward here within the next 6 months for a trial. We'll see whether she's able to make that happen. That's a very ambitious timeline here, given everything else that's going on. Jen and Mel.
Doug, I'm wondering, is this case going to be televised in Georgia?
Well, it's possible. I mean, we don't see that with federal cases, but in Georgia they can do that. So we'll have to see how that looks moving forward. But it's certainly possible we may watch this play out in real time.
And that would be must-see TV. Thank you, Doug Luzader from Washington.
Thank you.
Okay, so President Trump has been indicted again with a long list of a lot of other people. By the way, did you notice the smirk on the judge's face? She was trying really hard not to smile a whole lot about this happening.
I interviewed Donald Trump's lawyer for the second impeachment. David Sheehan was on my show.
Mm-hmm.
He was very interesting, had a lot of good information. But this is now.
I know there's a lot of gloom and doom. I'm not seeing the gloom and doom. And let me tell you why. Trump was in Alabama last week. I got to go. He was in Montgomery. It was at the big Republican dinner we have once a year. And the biggest crowd they have ever had.
That's what Murray said. Yeah.
And I think he needed to be with us because he'd had a rough week. I mean, pretty rough, you know. But the guy's not backing down. And he keeps saying this over and over again. I want to know what your reaction to this. He says this often. They're not after me. They're after you. What do you say?
And that's exactly what it is, because he is for us. So things would change in our favor. So they are really not after him. They are after not allowing him because they're really coming after us. And he's just in the way. I mean, that anything that they've been planning on doing, they've got to now. They didn't figure him out in all of this. They didn't figure out the response. They didn't figure all of this out. They didn't figure also, too, that it would drag out. Sometimes, you know, again, Saul Alinsky, when an issue drags out too long, it becomes a drag. And that's why they like to drag things out so that, you know, you can just toss it by the wayside. But what's happening is because they've dragged it out and nothing has been resolved, the longer it goes on and information comes out, the more it hurts them. Because now, if it's dragging on this long, then what's coming out has got to be the truth, is what people see. So sometimes dragging it on for too long and not dumping it. And that's where I think they find themselves today. I think there are a lot of people trying to expose a lot of things. I think there are a lot of people on both sides at a certain level that realize that what has been going on, especially with Hunter, is wrong. It's destructive, and it is not the under the oath that each and every one of them swore to uphold and to protect this country. They have got to be coming, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be coming to a head, because you can't sit here with all of that amount of people that is there. But then again, let's go back, Donna. Let's go back. I don't know if you've ever seen the video. 400 indicted for child molestation, 200 for sex abuse, another 300 for drunk driving, another and then when you say, okay, which is this, the NFL or the National Baseball League? The answer is neither one. It's Congress is the answer. And it's an incredible eye-opening video to listen to the amount of charges of the people that we have chosen to put in those seats that have done what they have done. If we think that we are going to change this now, we're out of our minds, because now everything under those seats, they have corrupted. Doesn't matter everything over. We know where that is.
It's every single thing they touch.
And our saving grace is not anything over those seats. The American people's saving grace is for those working for this country from Congress on down. And if you start corrupting that, and that is one of my biggest worries. We have 8,000 people a day filtering all out onto this country. What happens when something does break out? What happens if this government chooses to take all these illegals and all of a sudden they're going to give them medical, dental, and a paycheck? And they're going to put weapons in their hand to go patrol our American streets. Do you think any of these illegals will have any heartfelt feelings for us? Right on our own country? Do you honestly think? Do not tell me it can happen, because Obama warned us he is going to build a military bigger than our own. Those were his words. What did he mean by that?
Okay, now you had an interesting hypothesis, but before we get started with that, I'd like to mention this book. Talk to us about it. You need
Wake Up
to buy
America
this.
and
Mhm.
Face the Dragon.
Mhm.
Lawrence, may rest in peace, for 8 years, knew something was happening to this country. And when he got sick for 6 years, I went and became the moneymaker while he stayed home and did the research to write this book. This book is our country's political truth as to how we got here. Everybody wants to know, like, well, how did we lose this? And how did we do this? And how did this get so powerful? And how did that fall by the wayside? That's what he wrote. It is a mystical look at the moral side of politics, which show the holes in it. And it's through something that he knew, and him and I researched from the moment those planes hit those towers. We're both from New York. As a child, I watched those towers being built from Long Island, the beach I grew up on. You can watch them being built. My father took me to have dinner up at the restaurant at the top, to witnessing live what had happened. It changed my life forever. And it changed Lo so much that he knew, and he said, would you do this with me? And I said, anything you want. By that time, we were already doing Blog Talk Radio. So we had a platform right there. I've been doing this for many years. I started in 2004 on Blog Talk Radio. And then I went to Net News in 2009. So it has not been anything that's new to me. I've been watching what has evolved in this country. And now, more than anything, Donna, what's happened is when our Constitution and those important documents were written, they were written to grow and to change with this country. But what has happened is there is a generation that has hijacked those seats. It was just like the farmers. Do you remember the purpose? The purpose was for us in our little communities to elect the best spoken person to go and speak for us. And they would spend a little time and then they would go home and the next person would go. Mm-hmm. That's the way it's supposed to go. But that's not what has happened as it evolved. Those sitting in those seats have hijacked those seats. They've corrupted those seats. They put a price on those seats. They got rid of Bogdanovich, whatever his name was, in order to move Obama in. And they don't care what they do. And if this country thinks that there are any limits to what they will do to protect their interests, then we're fools. We are absolute fools. It is time for us to wake up and to realize that the scales of this country have tipped. And the quicker we, the American people, realize that, the better off we're going to be. Because what happens is right now, we are still in the time of what I call debating time, which we can talk, we can resolve things. But when the art of debate, just like on college campuses, when the art of debate is lost, what are they left with? Violence. Just like you see on our college campuses, that's what you will see in our streets across this country. Mark my words, because you have not educated, you have not instilled the importance. Benjamin Franklin, when he came out of writing the diary, sir, what have you written? A republic, if you can keep it. We haven't. And that's the truth. And the quicker we realize how much we have let our country down, the better off we'll be. I mean, just go back to a generation that rolled up in God we trust. We rolled up dollar bills and snorted cocaine through it. Give me a break. How much more morally corrupt could we get?
Well, we've lost respect. We've lost common sense. There is no more common sense. We've also lost, it's just the art of negotiating in a civil manner.
We've become an emotional society. Mm-hmm. We no longer use logic or academia in order to fight a battle. What it is labels, words. And if you don't know, if you can't engage in a conversation, then you have to attack. We've gone beyond. We have two sides. Listen to the news media. We are no longer putting in front of the people an anchor with both viewpoints in order to make a point of both sides. It's not what's being done. It's not what's there. No, you go to CNN because you want to hear that viewpoint, and you go to Fox because you want to hear that viewpoint. Bottom line. And then if you go to CNN, if you're a Fox, says there, oh my God, I got to move the channel because you can't even stop for a second and listen to that point of view. That's what we've done. And that's dangerous because we now have a generation that has no moral compass. Have you watched them going into stores and just taking whatever they want? Where we've destroyed, there is no. Have you seen anybody in any of those videos try to stop them? No, because now they're being taught, those who work there are being taught you have to have tolerance. Let them take what, don't hurt yourselves or the store. Why? Because now the insurance companies are going to back everything that's stolen. So they don't care what gets stolen anymore because they're all getting that money back from the insurance companies. So the big box stores, they're like, come on in and take what you want.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question about this.
We're not losing a penny.
Yeah, but in the long run, who's paying for that? We're paying for it with our premiums.
Right. But then again, what makes you think your voice matters anymore?
It doesn't.
That's
the only voice that really seems to matter anymore is the thug. Because they're always going to take the side of the thug.
100%. That's what I was saying, that the scales have tipped. What is right is wrong. What is wrong is right. I mean, we have criminals that aren't being charged with anything. I mean, I live in an area, try to call the police for something. They're not coming. They're not showing up anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm going to make a point right here. Okay, please you remember, it's been several years ago before Charlie Manson died. Okay, so imagine this. You have a teenage daughter who falls in love with Charlie Manson. Okay, this really happened. I'm not making this up. So this teenage girl falls in love with Charlie Manson, and Charlie Manson is going to marry her. Okay, if you're the mother, I mean, what would be your response? Okay, Charlie Manson is in prison and wants to marry my teenage daughter. What is your response?
Well, for you and I, it would be out of the question. But in the society that we've created, the mother then sees the opportunity for herself. So she'll allow it.
She did.
Right, because they go, but that's what I'm saying. That's what we've put in. We haven't given them the logic or because we don't teach anything.
I would have been afraid of the fear. I would have been afraid of the fear from my grandmothers. Had I come to my grandmother's house and said, I'm going to marry Charlie Manson, my grandmothers would have, no, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, first of all,
I agree, but the family has deteriorated so much that the thought of even caring what your grandmother's thought has fallen by the wayside.
Oh my God.
And it's so sad, but it's true. People are so self-centered. That's what we've done. That was my whole point here, is that people are just doing things. I have a client, Donna, you really want to know something? No wonder why men have no more faith. I have a client that comes in and she's wearing the most scantily clad scarlet red dress with no bra on a 9 o'clock Monday morning appointment, no less. And I'm like, first of all, who wears that at 9 a.m. on a Monday? Okay, put that aside. I do her hair and then I take pictures of her. She's always online, sits in my chair and just goes through dating like this, swiping. I have no clue. I just laugh. I have no idea because it's nothing I do. So I'm just sitting there and I just laugh at her. Now she's finished and I take pictures. She wants me to take pictures of her. So I have a white grand fireplace in the salon. Go stand by the fireplace. I take pictures. She's like all frozen. I'm like trying to relax. Her hands are like this. And I'm like, Jewel, relax, smile, try to relax. I get one good picture out of it. So I give her her phone and she leaves. She texts me a little while later and she says to me, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe how many guys I've texted this picture to that are asking me on dates. Thank you so very much. I absolutely love it. She sends me the picture of what she's sending them. First off, her hair is to here. In the picture, her hair is to here. Second off, she filtered the picture so bad, it doesn't even look like her. It doesn't even I sat there and I'm saying to myself, I could see a guy with the phone in his hand going, "Are you flipping kidding me?" When she shows up, he's looking at the phone. He's looking at her going, "You flipping kidding me?"
Yeah.
But my point is that how could you not think, if you're looking for a dating app, that this person's going to meet the right person? Why would you embarrass yourself to that extent?
Okay.
Because you know what? Because that's my point is that what people are ignited by is a false reality. That was my point.
Yeah, because when you see this person in real life, they're not going to look anything like that. I would think you would be bypassed. It would be so insulting for somebody to walk up and go, "That's you? Really?" I mean, that would be kind of insulting, don't you think? But then you brought it on yourself.
But I'm serious. If you're meeting guys online, there's a guy that'll do that, okay? You meet a guy that thinks you're this hot little number and you show up in reality, there is a guy who's going to look and go, "Are you kidding me?" She wonders, wait a minute, this is a woman who does this, but then she still doesn't put together. She says to me, "Well, I met this guy and I met him for lunch," and she's showing me. And I'm like, "Oh." And then she says, "Yeah, but it didn't work out." I'm like, "Well, what happened?" She goes, "I don't know." She goes, "He went to the bathroom and never came back."
You don't know, really. And you sent a picture of somebody that looks nothing like you. You've doctored it up so much, for goodness sakes. So let me ask you a question. First of all, I'm a big old movie buff. I really don't even watch anything that is made now, because first of all, I disagree with everybody who's a movie star. So Phil and I were watching this old movie, and it was made in the 1950s, the early 1950s, and it's what's happening now. So I'm seeing this stuff started way before yesterday. I mean, this stuff started a long time ago. So it was about a doctor. He was ex-military, and he was like decorated and all this kind of stuff. He moves back to his old hometown. It's a coal mining town. Okay, so he's looking at, "I want to be a doctor for the awesome coal miners who are dying. They've got all this stuff in their lungs. They're dying of cancer and everything else." Well, he turns ahead of this rich elite woman, and she's fake. And I'm turning into my grandmother. During the whole movie, I'm looking at Phil saying, "My God, run the other way. Don't follow this woman. She's not for you." I was doing that all through the movie. So anyway, she's an elitist. So he falls into this trap where he's working for an elitist doctor. All he is a pill pusher. That's all he is. All of the desperate housewives are coming to him because he's very good looking. He compliments them, winds up being a pill pusher and all this kind of stuff. Well, at the end of the movie, he falls in love with this woman who's working for the coal miner doctor. And he comes back to reality. Finally, through the whole movie, I'm going, can't you see? This woman is using, and by the way, this woman had been, she was spilling it all out how she really is, and he just didn't get it. All he was seeing was this physical attraction thing. Right. So, long point being, this stuff is started the beginning of time. It started with Adam and Eve. It really did. Right. It's just that there used to be a fear in us, a fear of God. There is no fear of God anymore. It's just like, it's all about me. It's the me generation.
Call it the instant gratification.
I'm not being fulfilled. It's like, the world spins around me. I mean, that's what it is. And we can't have a nation based that way.
Oh, and that's probably one of our biggest problems right now, is that we have allowed a generation, and this is a generation that's growing up fast. And, they
don't have a childhood.
No.
Okay, you remember back in the day, we were kids. Okay, let me tell you how my imagination was. Dad would cut the grass. There would be piles of grass. I would actually put the grass together, and I was like an architect. I actually built an outline of a house with grass.
Right.
And my brother and I would build forts.
Right.
I mean, I was a tomboy. That didn't mean I was a lesbian. I wasn't confused about my gender, nothing like that. I was just a tomboy being raised with a bunch of boys. So when we played baseball and all this kind of stuff, there was no like confusing your children. Are you sure you're a girl? There was none of that. A bunch of garbage. Now we've made it all so touchy-feely and so much about emotion that it's not making sense. Let's go to a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Can you believe how fast 30 minutes flew?
I love it.
We'll be right back. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Soon to be a podcast. I can't wait to tell you about it, but I can't yet. Shh, I'm really quiet. Touch. Not going to say a word. I have Victoria Lee Scott with me right now. Where are you at right now? You're in California. What part?
I am in Long Beach, California, and I know it'll be very confusing to your audience because I do not have a California accent. I am actually from Long Beach, Long Island in New York, so I have a Long Island twang, it's called. But I live and reside everything here. As a kid, I used to always say, I want to live in California. I just hated the winter. I hated the snow. Yeah. And everybody's like, grow up and move. I have no idea how I wound up right here in Long Beach. The ocean, Catalina is right here. My business on the water. It's like everything I ever wanted as a child is like a grown-up version of what I wanted.
I think the key was you don't know how you wound up there. I think you let God lead you.
Well,
because you can be somewhere else and you're like, how did I wind up here?
Yeah. And you know what? It's very interesting because back then I had made such a mess of my own life. And, from my family upbringing and really, really bad. And it took a level of me having to go to in order to readjust who and what I was about. And actually this past week, from that day, I just celebrated 34 years this past week. So it's been a long journey, 34 years from that crazy, wild person that I was to who I've become today. But in response to what you're saying, yes, it was because I was led. Everything that I do has a purpose and a reason. And if I take the time to trust in that and to listen for the still small voice, it leads me. And that's how I got here. I mean, I just completed college. I mean, like I have my mother. Right. And even from the family life I have, healing shows up in our lives. Mm-hmm. For me today, I have for the first time in my life, I have my mother and father in my life for the first time since I was 6 years old. You always had to choose one or the other. For decades, I knew nothing of either one. Today, at this age, he's 92. She's 90. Wow. That shows me that I did what I was meant to do here. I healed not only myself, but I heal him by just loving him today. I heal her by just loving her today, holding them accountable for nothing. They are really close to holding their own accountability. And right now, good luck to you, both of you, but I'm going to love you from here. But we all have to answer sooner or later. And like you said, what I've learned in this time of having both of my parents in my life at the same time is I don't want to be like either one of them. You had said that in our last segment. Mm-hmm. And I understand that a lot more after you said it.
And it's okay to break away. There was a show I saw. It was on Phil Donahue. Used to come on a long time ago. Yeah. And there was a lady on there that she knew nothing but alcohol, and her parents did alcohol, drugs. That's all she knew. She was raised in it.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, she looked pretty rough there. So anyway, she becomes pregnant, doesn't know who the dad is, but she decided that it's not really important. I don't know who it is. I want to have the baby. So she said, you know what? I'm still kind of going my way. I have the baby. And there was something about the doctor putting that baby in my arms. And she said, I looked at that baby and I thought, you know what? The buck stops with me. I'm not going to do any more drugs and no more alcohol. It stops with me. She broke that curse on the generation. I'd love to know what she's doing now.
It's funny what you said that. Let me tell you something. It's funny because I have told both my parents in response to what am I most proud of? I am most proud of that I changed the course of my family's history. And I have been able to tell both of my parents, in raising my daughter, I have changed the course of this family's history.
Wow. That's
And
important.
I have, my daughter never has to worry where her mother is, ever. I have made it my point to be, she has never ever known me to even have a drink, ever, in all of her life. It was probably the most important thing for me in the blessing of when I met Lawrence, and then to find myself I met him 10 days before I was coming to California to do the American Gladiators as a bodybuilder. 10 days, and I fell in love. We were born the same day, same month, 10 years apart. And I moved out here 10 days before I met him. I was moving, so I met him. I moved out. A year later, he moved out, and a year after that, our daughter was born. But it was just, everything has been led, and I knew that it was just time to change what it was. I did the research on where, if I stayed with the Gladiators, where that would lead me as to taking a chance on true love. And I took a chance, on true love. And it was the best thing I ever did. But it had a lot to do with me at the time. I was very, very, very much aware of being a good role model and a good mentor for my daughter. That was probably the most important thing. Room mom, class mom, PTA mom, dance mom. I'll do it. Parties in the salon. Okay, back to school parties. Okay, we got Valentine parties. We got Halloween parties. We got Irish, St. Patrick's Day party. We got parties everywhere. And I was always a very big part of all that. And it was just recently, as my daughter, Justin Angel, is 26 years old, that she actually thanked me. She thanked me for not only all that I did, but she thanked me for allowing her to be who she was. And she wasn't. All of my friends here in Naples, these girls were all water polo and junior guards, and, they were all to the max. My daughter, that's not Justin Angel. Justin Angel's an artist. Justin Angel wanted to go to swimming class, hang out on the beach all day, and dance 5 days a week. That's what she wanted to do. She just wanted to dance. So she actually thanked me because I never pushed her to be something that I knew in her heart she wasn't, just because that's what the group was doing. I allowed Justin Angel to create her own friendships and to be who she wanted to be. And I tell her all the time, I said, you're such a good human. I tell her all the time, you're a good human. But that's where it comes from. It comes from making that decision. We have a generation, our generation, that has actually had a lot of other people raise their children.
TV?
How many people do you know had nannies for their kids? How many people do you know went out and had babysitters? How many people do you know whose grandparents came and babysat, or went while you went on vacation, came to your house and took care of your kids while you went on vacation? Seriously.
How about the television that babysitted a lot of kids?
Let me tell you, when that really was my eye opener? I'm in the salon one day. 4 Mexican women come in. And I only say that because they don't stop talking in Spanish. They come in with a baby and a carry-all, the carry-all from the car to this, all right. They put the baby down. The 4 of them start talking. They open up a phone. They give it to the baby. Now, a baby in that carry-all is not older than 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, correct? If they're in that, they're still about 6 months
should be correct. You should not be in it unless you're,
Okay, so 6 months old. So this baby is little. So they're talking. And they put on something on the phone and they hand it to this baby. And then the baby sits there and, at 6 months old, watching this, whatever it is. As soon as it ends, they just don't even stop conversation. Bleep, 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 hand it back to the baby and continue on. And I said, that is going to have repercussions. And you wonder why. And then my clients sit there, because I've owned my salon 29 years. So my clients sit there and I figure things out. And I'm like, do you know why your child doesn't want to get their driver's license? And they're like, no, but when I was a kid, I couldn't wait till I was 16 to get my license. This kid's 19.
I my parents crazy.
Right. And this kid's 19 and they don't want to drive. I don't know why. I'm like, you don't know why? Let me tell you why. First of all, their whole lives, you put them in the back seat with a DVD player. Then not only that, but then when they got to school age, you put them in their seat with a phone in their hand. And they played games and they watched videos. Then you bring Uber on the scene. And when you didn't want to pick them up, you had Uber bring them home from school. Now you wonder why your child doesn't drive. Why should they? That's when they catch up on their phone. They finish the movie they were watching. No, get me an Uber. I'll pay somebody to take me, or you drive me because I got to answer my friends. That's how that developed. Why would they want to keep their eyes on the road when we have made that vehicle an entertainment box?
Because everybody wants to be entertained. But let me ask you, there's a word I love to
Nobody counts
use.
cars anymore. Nobody counts license plates.
Oh my goodness, we used to do that. Driving down the road, how many bugs do you see? How many? We do that all the time. So let me ask you a question. And I love this word. Okay, it seems to be a dirty word. Starts with an A, and it's the word ambition. Are they even teaching this in college anymore?
No, actually, and do you want to know why? So
yeah, I'd like to know why.
Okay, so what happens is when you destroy faith, let's take that number one. And faith is when feelings arrive inside the heart. So faith is something that glows inside of us. You know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Now, if you raise a generation and you don't develop that faith, with the loss of faith, then you lose out on the gift of hope, because you only get hope through faith. So if you no longer are practicing any faith, no matter what it may be, no matter how small it may be, remember, you know, that key goes in. You can open up a little bit to faith, or you can throw the door wide open. It's up to you. And willingness is the key. So my point is when you start deteriorating faith and kind of really just maybe removing faith, okay, and you're replacing other things. Faith is those feelings inside the heart. Now, if you don't have that, you're replacing it with other things that are not good. That's when bad things come in and start, ooh, I'd like to do that. And there you go. Off you go. Bye-bye. See you when it hurts enough. You know, and so therefore, without the faith, you no longer have anything to build upon your hope. And that's what raising children is about. It is about helping them develop their faith in order for them to find the hope to create who they want to be. So if you destroy the faith and then you no longer are leaving an opportunity for hope, then where do you leave ambition? You leave ambition empty. You leave, my father used to always say, idle hands are the devil's workshop. It's exactly what it means. So of course, without ambition, but you just don't have ambition. People aren't just born with ambition. Ambition is cultivated. Ambition is, oh, you're such a good dancer. Oh, you want to go to dance class. Oh, you're in college. Oh, you want to major in dancing. You cultivate a child, a person, a human, and it doesn't have to be your child. I do children who come to me just because of what they get from me. All right, fill me in, let's go. All right, so what is that girl Shirley doing now? Tell me about Shirley. How did it work out, what we talked about? And they're like, oh my gosh, Shirley's leaving me alone, you know, and it's just, they come to me because they know they can talk and I'm going to give them logical. Most times with their parents, if they go to them with these issues, they really don't have time for it. Or they just brush it aside, you know, as just this. No, it was like, you know, with Justin Angel, the fun about raising her is that it allowed me to be a child again. It allowed me, the child inside of me, to heal. And if you're not willing to do that as a parent, well, then you know what? You're going to take the garbage that's within you, and one way or another, you are going to filter it into that child. One way or another.
Let me ask you another question. This pertains to raising kids. So we always had chores. I mean, there are things we had to do. We couldn't do anything unless the chores were done. Had to do your homework and all those things. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just the way it was. My grandparents were the exact same way. They would even give us chores to do. So I just thought everybody had a chore to do. So when we take that away from the kids, are we making a mistake where they just lay around all the time and they just say, I want a pair of $200 shoes, and we just go buy them? Is that crushing a kid. Is that taking away ambition as well?
Yeah, but it's not even that anymore. It's beyond that. I work in an industry and I watch these kids. They don't have any respect for the value of a dollar. No. They have no respect for money at all because they're so busy tapping your phone on my instrument that they really don't care where that $40 just came out of. Oh, mom will transfer it. ATM, automatic transfer mom. That's what ATM stands for in my world, automatic transfer mom. Not that my daughter ever asked for anything because trust me, you want to go out on your own, you're not coming back for me to pay your rent. I ain't paying your car payment, I ain't paying your rent. You better go figure that out because if you're out of here, you better go figure those two things out first. So I've never, but for extra things that she wants to do, I always take care of my girl. You know what I'm saying? And that's the wonderful doing it. But you know, the whole thing is you've got to learn responsibility and you've got to teach them. We have a whole generation coming up that I'm sorry, they're going to destroy everything around them. This is the generation that has no value in anything. This is the generation that's going to be easily talked into joining the bad guys and going and ripping off that store because you don't have any value for anything. So the only way you're going to feel is you're going to follow these thugs. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to have good kids gone bad. Why should I have to sit here and get a job? Man, look at this guy just pulled $1,000 just in one store. It's going to be all about that.
Well, I never thought you could get caught. They're in this world where I'll never get caught. So why not going ahead and do it? And if it's not even anymore or not getting caught, Donna. Nothing's going to happen to me when I get caught. That's where we're at. Before dinner cools on the table or wherever McDonald's you pick it up at, you'll be out, is my point. They're not afraid of the arrest because, second of all, you can see the lack of respect for authority. First thing they're going to do is fall to their knees and claim police brutality. Well, if you put your hands behind your back like you were ordered to, you wouldn't have to fall to your knees, idiot. You wouldn't have banged your head if you would have ducked like I told you getting into the squad car. So let me ask you another opinion. So let's talk about this again. Okay, we got about 7.5 minutes before we have to go. But okay, so we take away ambition. No one has a reason to live. No, I mean you can't. There's no reason to get up out of bed, right? Right. So is this where socialism starts? Because I have no ambition. I'm not making any money. I'm starving to death. I'm about to be kicked out of my apartment.
Let's go back to our history lesson.
Yeah, but wait a minute. The government says, and by the way, before I even say that, I want to say I believe in food stamps and welfare. I believe in it because everybody goes through this hump in their life where they've got to have some help. But I'm not talking about it being a career choice. Okay, so here's what happens. Okay, it's been a career choice for quite a while. So I'm down on my luck. You know, I thought I was going to be a social media queen. I'm not one. You can't pay my bills. I'm starving to death. But then the government comes up with a program. You know what? You don't have to own your place. I mean, it's going to look beautiful. You don't have to own your place. We're going to provide you a place to live, place to eat. We're even going to give you a little bit of spending money. We're even going to do that. Is that when socialism takes over the country?
Okay, let's go back to our history lesson in Adolf Hitler. They will give you their God for their measly paychecks. Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
So in regards to what you are saying, there's socialism right there. You keep telling them that you're going to feed them, clothe them, giving a little wink, wink, spending cash. They will give you their God, which means their values, their choice, their freedom, their voice for their paychecks, for their measly paychecks was his word. And that came from Adolf Hitler. So do I think that enslaving people to the government is... Sure, it's beyond. It's not the beginnings of socialism. No, we have generations that earn a living off of socialism, and we can look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie, and not only that, it's going to get worse. You know why? Our debt is our credit card debt has just passed $1 trillion.
Our national debt as a government is how much now? And it just keeps building.
And our credit card debt is $1 trillion. That's what we got to really watch, because what's going to happen is the government is going to step in, just like this Fed now. As soon as they start getting their dirty little fingers in the pie, and then what's going to happen is then they're going to shut everything off on you personally, because they have everything they want. That's what's going to happen, and that's
you're the slave at that point. You are a slave.
You're a slave at that point. And if we think we aren't heading in that direction, again, like I said, we are fools to think we're not. We are. And we're letting them. We are not fighting anything. We let them put fences up around our capital and we did nothing. That is take those fences down. How dare you open up our borders and put a fence around our house? How dare you? But the American people, not a word. And until we, the people, my biggest fear is when we, the people, finally wake up, the line will have been crossed and there'll be no more debate or no more talking, and we will have reached violence right where we are now. Scripture tells us over and over, Donna, lawlessness. It is coming. It is already here.
It's here now.
And we are not going to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I would like to say we're not going to, because we're not united enough to stop it. And that's what I'm hoping to do in my next project. My next project, to take Moms for Liberty and give them one channel where every Moms for Liberty in every state across this country can talk about what's happening in their state. Unless we have something that exposes the unity of what's going on, nothing is going to get done. This guy's YouTube over here, and this person's speaker over here, and this person's Substack. We're not unified in what we're saying, and that's why we're not seeing anything. And they just think, the other side thinks, time. Let enough time go by, and they forget about everything. And that's what they keep doing. Let enough time go by, and they won't remember how much it hurt. Let enough time go by. I think we have some major issues coming at us in 2024. Things that this country has no idea. And I have called it before. You let them throw that power switch for 3 hours and you will see a country fall into utter chaos. Bottom line. That means everything stops. Water filtration.
Well, there's a little simple thing that needs to be taught starting in kindergarten. And it's called a debit
food
and a credit. People need to understand what a debit and a credit is. Without that knowledge, you're going to fail. You cannot overspend and expect someone to come to your rescue.
They don't teach checking accounts. They don't teach how to stamp a letter. They don't teach any. And the other thing they had to teach is how to plant and grow seeds, how to grow things in our earth. Our children do not know how to survive on anything but fast food.
No.
And then whatever they're growing, they're poisoning more the natural food right now than they are the stuff.
Spot on.
Excuse me?
You are spot on.
They are targeting those people, targeting those children. You think you're treating your child to fresh vegetables? Well, you better chisel that plastic coating off the top of your vegetables that your child is ingesting.
Whatever paraffin it is. Let me tell you something else. So I'll go back to, I'm taking classes through, I've already finished it. The classes at Auburn University. And it's horticulture classes. And I'm going to tell you, you need to know something about what a seed is. You picked it. I mean, you really got. So this is what happens. People say, I haven't bought a store-bought tomato in years. It's not a tomato. It's not. What they do is they pick it very early. They put it in this thing. These gases go in it. Now it's a pretty tomato. There's no blemish on it whatsoever. But when you cut into it, it's like cutting cardboard. Yeah. It's not a tomato because they get it ready for shipping. The best tomato you can get is the ugliest tomato on earth. You get it off of your own vine. It may have a blemish on it, but it's going to be a good tomato. You
I
can't.
got fruits that won't ripen. I got fruit that I can, and I even went to the produce guy. I'm like, why is my fruit not ripening? He go, put it in a brown paper bag. A week in a brown paper bag, and they're still not ripening. I'm like, what is going on with the fruit? Why is nothing ripening?
You got to put a banana in.
Something. But that's a whole nother show we can do. But
okay, your seeds are probably not what they need to be. Girl, we got to call it a day. This is the end of the show.
I love it.
Oh, we don't have enough time.
Never enough
Victoria
time
Lee
for us.
Scott, thank you for being on the show. Hang around after the show. We got to get you set up for next month, okay?
100%.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for watching The Edge on IAC Radio. Victoria, we have the absolute best audience ever and the best sponsors. Again, thank you so much for hanging out there with us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success. And now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.